Yeah, yeah. We just chillin' and vibing. Good conversations with good people. Oh. Good conversations with good people. Yeah.
Yo, 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 this your boy Larry, and I'm chilling and vibing
Hey,
with
I'm good. How are you?
Jacobin. What's going on, girl?
Yeah, chilling and vibing
You know the vibes, hey, we
with
just
God.
chilling and vibe. Hey, I appreciate you for coming through though,
we
making
we
time
made
and
it. We
it
made
was
it
a
happen.
hassle, us getting together, but hey, we here now.
First of all, I
We
just want to
made
say
it.
thank you to just for this interview, for the opportunity to for those that follow you to get to know me a little bit. I originally like where I was born, but originally I actually was born in Peru, so South American. But I've lived here my whole life, and also U.S. citizen. I actually naturalized a few, like in when was it, December? So, finally did that. But I reside in LA, basically LA County.
So like, how was that transition,
You know what? It's it was a good feeling because I mean I've been residing in the U.S. forever. Like I came in as a little girl, so it felt like I was already a citizen, except I didn't have certain benefits. Like I couldn't vote, and I couldn't do jury duty or anything like that. But everything else, because I came, um, and I mean I was able to fly out of the country and everything like that and come back, but you just can't leave for too long. Like you can't leave for like more than 6 months, or else you'll lose the residency you have. So it felt really good to transition to finally. It felt like you're kind of dating for forever, and you're finally made it official. You know what I mean? That's kind of felt like finally we made it official, and now I have the full benefits of everything. And so, but yeah, it felt good, especially with the climate. I wanted my voice to be heard. I wanted to be able to vote, and so I said, let's do it. The world is just, we need God. So we need our voices to be heard. So it felt really good. Yeah, thanks for asking.
with this new administration, I'm
That's
glad you're
true.
already a
That's
citizen
true.
now because it's a lot going on, a lot. And it's just sad in some way because
Hmm.
you got some good people over here that has to go back, and they
Right,
didn't do nothing. They
right,
just
right.
they're
Yeah, it
trying to
is tough.
survive.
I'm actually work as my full time is a school counselor. So just being able to support the families and support the students that they're just going through it as well. So I feel blessed in that sense to hear them and to provide a space, like a safe space to support through it all.
Yeah, because I had met a female,
Wow.
and her husband, he had just got deported. We was talking, and she said he just got deported by ICE. It was just sad because when she started talking about it, she got
Yeah.
emotional. I mean, I can imagine, you losing your husband, just
Right.
like that,
Yeah, it's a
and
lot.
not knowing if he's gonna be able to come back. So, like, how is it over there in LA now?
It's a lot happening in LA. I feel like I don't know if the eyes of the world are in LA, but it almost feels like that. There's like we're talking about the fires and everything that happen, and then the ice raids, and then there's protests, and there's a lot going on. I think a lot of us are just managing through, trying to find the balance of attending to the needs that have arisen up, and then also balance that self-care, because I remember when the LA fires hit, even though I wasn't directly impacted in the sense of I was far away from the fires. My church community still was in that area. So my church was about 2 blocks away from where the fires of Altadena hit. And by the grace of God, nothing happened to the church. But also, I have so many like loved ones, like because I've lived in Pasadena for almost 20 years before I moved to a different city. So I have so many people that were so dear to me that have lost homes, and my heart was so heavy for them. So I think it was like a lot of us just on high alert, because when things like that hit, like your adrenaline is up, you're there's so much tension in your body, there's so much going on. So I think everybody found was finding ways to cope, whether it was volunteering or like doing some kind of activism, doing something to manage through and to cope. And it felt good to lend a hand. You know, it felt good to like I have so many things are out of our control, but I was able to like pray, check in on some of my people, like get some resources, volunteer, just those different things. So I think right now what I loved also to see was how the community came together, and it was so beautiful of like when so much need happened, like so much pain, and at the same time so much beauty, to see the resilience of the community, to see so many in the community like rise up and say and like give. Like when I would go to the certain centers, there was like they had to even turn down some types of donations because they were flooded with, especially clothing, they're flooded with so many donations. And it was just like so inspirational to be like, whoa, like people showing so much love for LA and for what's going on. So it's like a mix of feelings right now. But overall, I think we're all getting together. We're getting through it together.
So like being over there and what I'm saying, seeing that happen, what do you think LA could do to try to prevent it or calm it down? Like because like it was a lot from the media. It seemed like it was a lot going on.
I feel like as citizens, as residents or as citizens, I'm not sure if there was a lot that we could have done on our end, because I know that if there was like different things that were different components. I think it was just like sadly like the perfect storm that hit. I know there was like the fire department was defunded like a few months before, and there was like a lot of insurance that all of a sudden pulled back, and it was just all of these different things, like the water reservoir wasn't fully there. So it was a lot of factors that were kind of outside of what the normal, the lay person, right, the everyday working individual was probably aware of or new to ask questions. But I think moving forward, what could be prevented is being more active in your community and being in the rooms where if there's like town meetings or if there's anything, like asking those questions, like what are we doing to prevent, because we know that California is going to be getting hit with fires. Like we kind of already know that, right? Like asking those questions with to our officials, and making sure we're keeping ourselves informed to select the right ones, right? The right ones that are actually going to be for the people, and are going to do a good job in thinking of prevention instead of just reacting. That's something that I think, right? And just pray for your city.
The music.
Gears music. That's kind of always been around. That's kind of always been in my life. So I grew up, my dad, he was in a musical group. Um, and they would travel. So it was always around me. So my dad, my mom also, she wasn't, well, technically she did participate in a group at one time as well, but she would write songs. My dad would write songs. So I was around it. My parents are pastors, by the way. And so I grew up in the church. I grew up, they just kind of heard me for when I was young. And they just told me, hey, like we can hear you can sing, you're pretty toned, like here, sing these songs. So as far as I could remember, I was singing something. And I'm dating myself now, but remember the cassettes, the cassettes. Um, I have a cassette out there with my little 4-year-old voice that my parents, like, they put out this little like kids like cassette tape. So I guess at 4 years old, I remember just sitting in a room and like with the microphone, and I had to like sing into that. Like I remember like very small things. So I started getting into music since then, but I never took it seriously. And so it wasn't until the age of like 17, 18, when I really like took that more serious, because I knew that I could sing, but I didn't really have a reason to. Like I didn't have like a real purpose in my life. And it wasn't until till God came into the picture. Like even though I grew up in church, you really have that encounter with him on your own. So I remember that time around 17 is when I encountered the love of God for myself and what he had to say about me. And it just, what the way I could explain it was that I felt like dead inside, like with no purpose and unseen and everything. And then all of a sudden it was like something was activated. I came to life when I encountered the love of God. It came to life, and everything that was in me, like it had a reason for existing. Now I was like, I'm gonna sing for you. And so that's how I started writing songs. Actually, that's how I realized, like, oh, I might have a knack about to write songs. And it was just me in my room by myself, just like singing to God, crying things out, and then songs would come, and I would just show it to my family, show it to like the church. And then little by little, people started hearing about it, and then my dad really encouraged me. I think he was a key component in saying, "Hey, you got to record this. Like, I think this is gonna help people. And then if you die, like God's gonna ask you, what did you do with the gift I gave you? You know, so it's not just for you; it's for other people to hear and to be blessed. So, and that's pretty much how it started.
So like, what was that first song you had wrote? Do you remember?
First song, I think, it was it. It's interesting enough. I wrote my first songs were in Spanish. So my first album is actually mostly in Spanish. I have like one or two English songs in that CD. But what was it? I think the first song was probably called Agradecida, which is called no, or was it Llévame? I think it was Llévame, which means take me. So I was talking to God, and I was like, take me. I want to be like closer to you. Like not take me and like kill me or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was more like, I'm here and with my hands lifted, and I just want to be closer to where you are. Yeah, that was the first song. I remember that. That was a long time ago. You took me well.
Yeah, I had to take you back.
Yeah. hmm
Your song
Lifting my
"Lifted My
eyes.
Eyes."
Yeah,
What
that's the
inspired you to write
newest
that
one.
song?
Thanks for bringing that one up. So that's in that I didn't fully write that one. That shout out to my friend Julia. She goes by Courage, Courage Music. She actually wrote most of that song, and so we collaborated in writing that song. And the way that came down was, one time I had seen she posted something in her Instagram, and it was the melody for the bridge and the chorus of that song, the Lifting My Eyes. And I was like, I heard it and I was like, ooh, this is so good. And I encouraged her. I was like, you need to make this a full song. And she was like, I don't know, maybe. And then we had already been in conversations about collaborating together to make a song. And so I was like, maybe we can like collaborate in that song. And so in my mind, I was only going to feature in that song. I was going to be the feature. And long story short, like she wanted to collaborate in writing the full song together. And she's like, no, I want you to sing it. So she gave me, like, she's like, yeah, I want you to sing. I hear your voice in singing this song, not me, but you. And so she's like, yeah, I cannot think of anyone else but you to sing it. And so as we were like, we would do Zoom meetings, and we would just think about, okay, what is this? Why does this, why did, what meant, what like, what touched you when you heard that chorus? Like, what was it? Why did you connect with that? And that's kind of where the verses came out of that. Like, so basically, because it talks about like when the journey is long and I'm weary. So it was actually taught, like, to me, what inspired a lot of those words, a lot of that sentiment was when you're waiting for like something, like a promise or like something that you don't see yet. Like for instance, for me, like marriage and a family of my own, right? So something that I'm like, I believe that that's going to happen for me. I just don't see it yet. And so it's that in between space. Or for someone else, like, just, I believe like God told me to build this. and he's gonna bless it, but I don't see it yet. And you're in that in between, and it's longer than you thought it would have been. You're like, I'm gonna start this, and it's gonna blow up, like, and but now it's like 5 years later, and you're still feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. And it's that journey, that in between journey, that you can start losing, you can start doubting, you can start losing faith. And so that's part of what was inspiring for me at that moment in time. And so it was just like really wrestling with myself and with God of certain things, some certain unmet desires, right? But still like holding on to the fact that no matter what I see or don't see, I'm going to lift my eyes to you, because I believe that you're the only one, that's going to help me through anything. And you're the blessing anyway, like not the things, not the stuff, but you. And like for her, like, I know for her, like after she wrote her rap part, she had just gone through like very like hard situation in her life, and she shares about this publicly, where um she went through a lot of losses. And so it was just like, when you lose everything, what can you do, like, but lift your eyes up? So it's really just like, when you're in the middle of questions and things, you still lean on and trust God in the midst of it all. Yeah.
Your song, "Let Me Not Wonder," that one of my favorites. I'm gonna let you know.
I remember that one. I remember where I was. I was in my living room, and it was sometime in the morning, and I was reading the Bible actually. And I was just having time with God, reading the Bible. And in Psalms, it talks about teach me. David, the psalmist, is writing, and he's saying, teach me your, like, teach me your ways, teach me your commandments. And it literally says, like, let me not wander from your commandments, let me not wander from your statutes. So teach me your ways. And to me, it really was like a cry of my heart that moment. Like, yeah, like, we can say we love God and all these things, but our heart is very, like, stubborn, and like could be very selfish, and we forget, like, we just forget about him. And so I was saying, no, God, I don't want to forget about you. I don't want to just be all about other things and forget what you've done and who you are. So let me not wander. And that's kind of where I just picked up the guitar, and I just, like, a tune just came out, and that was it. Let me not wander. Let me not wander from you. So it's like a prayer.
Like, how did you get into like playing instruments? Like, I know your family do music and you're into music, but where did that
I was
start at?
17 when I started to pick up the guitar. But the thing with the guitar is, someone once told me, is the guitar is easy to learn, hard to master. And I totally agree. So, because I haven't truly dedicated so much time to it, like, haven't grown as much as other people have. Like, so I've started since I was pretty young, 17-ish. But I only used it as a way to, like, worship, as a way to write songs, but I wasn't trying to be a guitarist and a lead guitarist, and I wasn't practicing all my scales or anything. So I'm still very much not a pro guitar player, but I know enough. And that was just me picking it up, asking people that knew guitar, because my dad, even though he knew a lot of instruments, like, he didn't teach it to me. Like, it's so funny. Like, he was I feel like sometimes family doesn't have as much patience for for certain things. But yeah, like, that's how it happened. With piano is also another one that I know, and that was a little bit later in life. And one of my friends, actually, I'm so thankful, like, he made time to teach me the basics. And then after that, like, I kind of left it for a little bit, and then I was like, no, I need to, like, bring it back. And so I took a few classes, and then then I stopped the classes. So now I've just been whatever I remember, and I do that. And so I've been, like, playing a little bit. Like, again, I'm not like a Mozart or anything, because I really just play to worship and to write songs however they come. So yeah, that's how it happened. Yes.
So worshiping, like, how did that journey start? I know your dad a pastor, but what made you wanna worship God also?
At the age of, like, about 17 years old. That's when that started, because before then I would just see, like, for me, to be honest, the worship time at church, it was kind of boring. I was like, okay, these are some of the songs are nice, but then I was over it. And but I remember the more I got to know who God was, and who he said that I was and how much he loved me, it just kind of naturally would come up. That's how it was, that intimate time with God. It was our time, and it was beautiful. And I couldn't get enough. The Bible says that we worship him, then he dwells in our worship. So we literally are attracting the presence of God as we're worshiping. And so that's what I feel when I worship. So that's why I want to do it more. As you're feeling his peace, his presence, and his love. So yeah, around 17 years old. Yeah.
Like, what did your father think? Being the pastor, what did he think when saying you want to worship him too? Like my daughter want to worship God also. Like he see what I'm doing, and she sees what's going on, and now one of my flesh wanna praise him also.
They're super proud, and I think just grateful to God. I remember when I had my first concert, my dad was the one that helped organize it, and it was so special. He actually gave me this little award that says like a worshiper, and so I still have it. That was when I was 25. That's some years ago now, but that was awesome. So I think like just super proud and like thankful is um what he felt. My
Who would you
gosh,
like to do like a collab?
my faith plays like is everything, and so I think more like faith-based artists than anything. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, I don't know if you ever heard of Blanca, but she's dope. She has some new music out too. Blanca, Ty Tribbett, I know you know him. Limo Blaze. I love the Afro beats. Like I think it's so dope. So I would love to do that. Madison Ryan Ward is another one. And if you haven't heard of her, check her out. She's super dope. And Tasha Cobbs, Maverick City. Um, those are the ones that come to my head right now, but there's just so many. But that'd be super. My album is my first album was in Spanish. Second album, Heart Surgery. That was 3 years ago, and my latest is Lifting My Eyes. So, but what's next is I want to do some more Spanish. I want to translate some of the English ones that I have and do translate them to Spanish. And also, like, there's so many songs that I have yet to record that I've just been messing around with melodies and stuff from like years. So I want to definitely record more music in Spanish and in English. I want to be able to tap into both arenas. I think there's a purpose of why I am bilingual. So yeah, I want to see. I want, like, my dream, my prayer is that God uses my music to just touch people and uplift them and give them hope and encouragement, and encourage them to get closer to Him. So that's what I see. That's next. So more music on both languages, and hopefully touring. Hopefully. So yeah, more podcasts. So the music can just be spread out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
like, what's one reaction you
Uh,
got from a fan that you
I'm like,
will remember
I'm feeling a
forever?
little emotional just when you said. I think it's been many occasions. Ooh, that's getting me. And that's what keeps me going. Um, being an indie artist, you have to do this. You would know, kind of like, you have to fund your own stuff, right? So you're doing this, you're not backed up by someone, so it could be taxing, and also you have your like, we have our other jobs and stuff like that, but this is like our passion, right? Like this is something that we feel like called to. So for me, what really keeps me going is to know that God has used it to touch somebody's life, that my life somehow has impacted someone else's in a way that that they could have said only God could have done it, and He used you, and that's just amazing. So something that has happened throughout, like, my music, is just people telling me, hey, I heard so and such songs, and it is not one song in particular, it's just been various songs for different people and different times of their journey and their life, they're like, this song, I still hear it to this day. So there's songs that I've written for like, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And people like, I still listen to that album. I still listen to that song. It got me through some moment in my life. I was feeling anxious. I was feeling depressed. I was feeling hopeless. I was, and, or what you said described exactly what I needed to hear, or exactly what I was feeling. And man, I felt God in your song, or I feel like these, I was crying and I was able to feel hope after your song. And I'm like, yo, that's everything, that's everything for you to make someone not only feel something, but like give them hope and give them God. That's everything. So yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I was able to do that God has used me in that way.
So like,
Um,
where can people find your music at if they want to listen to it?
everywhere actually. I'm in YouTube, I'm in Spotify, I'm in Apple Music and iTunes and pretty much everywhere. So yeah, check it out, Jacobed.
So Jacoby, what advice would you give, a young artist just not getting in the game? What advice would you tell them?
Know your why and hold on to that. Why are you getting started? Because it's not going to be easy. It's not an easy road, like to anything, right? To anything is not an easy road, but you have to know your why. And hold on to that. And surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with the right people that will believe in you. And something that I prayed a lot is, God, send me people that really love me for me. So not only people that like, oh, like I like the way you sing, or this, or they see you and they see an opportunity, but someone that really loves you for you. Like if you didn't sing a note one day of your life, and you didn't have nothing to offer no one, and they just loved you for you, So like you need those type of people, and you also need the type of people that are going to encourage you, that are going to challenge you. You also need people to like challenge you, and also not. You don't always want yes men either. You want people to tell you, hey, like that was kind of whack, or you could do it better. So and it's okay, like to go into to grow, to learn, and then another thing is don't wait for perfection. Release it. Like don't wait too long. Yes, invest and do the best you can, but sometimes the best you can is at that moment, and then years go by, you're like, ooh, well, now you've grown, and you're like, that sound isn't my sound anymore, but it's okay. There's this journey that you're going through, because I think a lot of people have so many songs, so many things, and they don't want to release it yet. But yeah, know your why. Pray for the right people around you. Don't wait for perfection, just do it. Yeah. And do everything. And I would suggest, I know everybody's not a person of faith, but I really believe that with God, like you can do anything, and it really does help you in the moments when life gets real tough, because it will. So yeah, thank
Well,
you.
Jacoby, I appreciate you for coming to chill and vibe. But before we go,
Chilling and
let
vibing
everybody know
with God.
what we doing.
Thank you.